We recently took a trip over the holidays to Costa Rica to spend some time away and in the good weather while we are having bad weather here in Washington. There's a few reasons why I wanted to take the trip. It was just a fun place that we always wanted to go, which was great, and we were able to take the whole family. But there was a more serious aspect to it as well, because I really wanted to explore the possibility of maybe snowbirding as the weather is bad here in the winter, lots of rain and occasional snow and just overcast. It's just very depressing for me, and I've kind of dealt with some SADS type issues over the years, and I just wanted to get somewhere uplifting and sunny. So that's one of the things. The other is that I am considering what it looks like for retirement at some point. And how do I get somewhere that's a little bit more comfortable to kind of slow down, live a different kind of a lifestyle? And that seemed like an appealing place to do that. So part of the trip was about sort of exploring that. One of the other reasons to think about that is just the increasingly conflicting sort of political climate in the United States. It's just becoming very, very toxic, and it just seems to be getting worse. And I personally get very caught up in that, which I don't like doing. So being separated from that has a certain amount of appeal to it. So those are some things that were kind of in my mind as we were taking the trip. And the trip was very good. It was very relaxing as far as a trip. But as I said, I wasn't just evaluating it as a trip by itself. I was kind of thinking in my mind what it would be like to live there on a more longer term basis, maybe, 3, 4 months out of the year kind of a thing. Is this someplace where I could be? One of the appeals of a place like that is the laid back lifestyle. But there's a counter to that, which is the mentality of being laid back kind of goes along with some other things, which I didn't think about beforehand, but now makes sense that they kind of go hand in hand. One of those things came to mind as we were talking to one of the guys at the hotel that was running the booking and stuff, and we had seen him the night before and again in the morning, and so he was there till like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and then he was there again at 6 o'clock in the morning before we were ready to go out to our excursion for the day. Really hardworking, and didn't complain about it. It's just the way that it was. And we found that to be true with a lot of people in Costa Rica. There were a lot of small shops and that sort of thing that we ran across. And you'd see the same person there all day long. And they work really hard. But they're not thinking of what could be better than that, which is maybe a little bit of American thinking, I guess. But part of being laid back is, I guess, sort of just kind of accepting the way things are. But to me, if the way things are is a lot of work, I would be striving to try to find a way to make that better. And I just didn't see that. When we were having this conversation with this guy at the hotel, we had been out shopping, and my wife was looking for sausage to cook up for breakfast. And all their sausages there were kind of like sort of hot dog-like, very weird sort of sausages. And so she was asking about terrazzo, I forget how you say it, but it's like a type of sausage that you can get in Mexico all the time, and it's seasoned, and it's really flavorful, and it comes in a whole bunch of different varieties. And he knew what we were talking about, but he said his response to that was, "Oh well, we don't really eat that because we're not used to it." And I found that so astounding. Like, you've got these really plain sausages that you eat just because you're used to them. And you've got this really delicious stuff that could be an option that you just push aside. It's not even in your mind because you're not used to it. And that is so contrary to the way that I think about stuff, and the way I think probably Americans in general think about things, which I found interesting and very notable in my mind as far as a mindset of what's going on there. One of the other dramatic ones that I saw, one of the other dramatic examples, is the toilet situation. You can drink the water in Costa Rica. They have great, clean well water and water that comes from the mountains and that sort of a thing. So it was one of the few foreign countries you can go to where you can drink out of the tap and it's not really a problem. We did that the whole time we were there. Nobody got sick. However, on the other end of things, every time you use the toilet, you're not supposed to put paper in it. And they just live with it that way. And that's the way it is. But it's so astounding to me because, first of all, toilet paper, have you ever tried to like take a piece of toilet paper and get it wet and try to clean something with it? It shreds apart. Toilet paper is literally designed to dissolve into a million pieces so that it doesn't clog up waste systems. It's designed for that purpose. Yet they can't use it in their waste system. Is it because their waste system can't handle it, or is it because they're just used to it a particular way? I don't know. But the inconvenience of that, the uncleanliness of that, I mean, they have a bin right next to the toilet, so it's not too bad, but still you're putting waste out there and it's not being taken care of unless you're emptying the garbage regularly. Why not make that better? And they don't seem to have any sense of striving to make that situation better. They just live with it, and that's just the way it is. And so that's sort of the counter to the whole laid back thing. Laid back started to mean, as the longer I was there, it started to mean sort of accepting mediocrity, which is not something that I was expecting when I was looking for something that was a more laid back place. But it was something that definitely caught my eye and my attention. In one of the hotels that we were in, there was a plaque on the wall that had a whole big list of things. It said basically, you're not in your country anymore, just relax, chill out, things are done differently here. Don't complain about this, don't complain about this, don't complain about this. And I understand the attitude, you don't want foreigners coming in and telling you how things work. But if foreigners are coming in and telling you you don't have to throw your dirty toilet paper away in a bin, you can make your sewer system work better, maybe you should listen to that message. There might be something there. And so the counter to that, don't tell us what to do, is like people saying, I'm not listening to any advice that might make things better. We do things our way. And that's just stubbornness. So there's this interesting balance that I felt tilted much more toward one way than I thought I was going to, because I thought it was going to be a nice, just relaxing kind of an environment. So that was interesting. The absolute counter to that happened then as we were there for almost 3 weeks. So had a chance to get really acclimated to that sort of thing and really experience what it might be like to live in that kind of a slower paced culture. One of the things on my mind during the whole trip was start of a new year for my business, looking for work and new clients, new projects. And it's been slow for the last few months. It's been really difficult to get people to move with things. So part of that is thinking of, maybe going to Costa Rica in a little bit of a semi-retirement sort of sense. And I came back, we were on a red eye flying into Los Angeles. And from this little remote area in Costa Rica, which is really dark at night. There's some streetlights and stuff, but it's really, really dark. Even if you look at it from the air, there's not much there. And coming into Los Angeles, it's just lights as far as you can see. And I just remember sitting there, looking out the window of the airplane, thinking, just in this little view that I've got right here, I can see enough lights that constitute, like, there's enough businesses just right there in my view that I could easily find all the work that I need for an entire year from me and my whole team. And that, the motivation, the American sort of motivation just instantly came back. And it's like, it's not even that hard. It's just right there. The opportunities are right there. I just have to go get them. And I went looking for being more relaxed. And I came back looking for how easy it would be to just step back into the American style and to just get something done. And the appeal of doing that, the American way, all of a sudden came back to me and kind of recharged me. So interestingly enough, I took the trip to try to relax. I guess it worked as a vacation because it recharged me and kind of set me ready to go again for the next year. But it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting to find a place where I could go and relax. And what I found was wanting to leave relaxation and get back to the high-paced version of American. Maybe not quite as high-paced, because I think there is a little bit of a balance there. I certainly don't want to be going and getting it all the time. And the appeal of sitting on a beach and just relaxing in warm weather while we've got cloudy, cold weather in Washington is still a big appeal. But I'm not sure how long I could actually live in Costa Rica on any given year. It's an interesting trip and an interesting view that I got of myself by going someplace, looking for one thing, and finding something a little bit different.